Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show.
Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA. Munson here with a Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Let's see if we can put the sex into sexta-feira today. Right, we've got Filomena joining us at 8:20 this morning. A great evening last evening, very stormy. Did you get the thunderbolts and lightning? Very, very frightening indeed. Yeah, you missed your cue there. We'll try that again later on. Okay, yeah, it was quite extraordinary last night in so many ways. Yes, the thunder and lightning for sure. And also during the town hall, the Dream Team town hall, some bombshell news. It may be that citizenship requirement is going up to 10 years. This came from Rodolfo Pelicano and Gilda, who brought that. It's a rumor in politics. In the same way, it has to be said, and yeah, take it as such with a pinch of salt at this stage. However, it's the same sort of rumor mongering or the same kind of backstory as we had with the end of the golden visa and the NHR. So a word to the wise, really, then, that it might be that citizenship goes from 5 years to 10 years here in Portugal. So if you were thinking of doing that, you might want to get a wiggle on and expedite the process with that. The other news item I would like to look at today, after saying a few hellos this morning, good morning to you, Gemini, Mike and Karen and Coach Turner as well, in anticipation of Filomena. Yeah, if you've got any questions. Now, what did I yeah, I've got a good question for her. Do we capitalize the days of the week? So, of course, it's a sexta. I'm going to put this into the chat so I don't forget. Is it sexta with a capital S or sexta-feira with a small s? The numbers of the week. The days of the week are capitalized, are they not, in English? Do I have a source? Yes, I just said. I said take it with a pinch of salt. And did you know, by the way, I've got a Portugal Resolute column? Am I right about it? In their Portuguese. It's a political rumor at the moment. And I said, in as much as we have had political rumors before the end of the golden visa and the NHR, there is a similar rumor about 10 years of time served with good behavior, clean criminal record. What? Are you calling my were you trying to write Lou paper there, as in? Oh my goodness, it's all kicking off in the chat. What's going on here? Lou Jesus lol. Okay, thanks for that erudite, very excellent deduction, Holmes. in the chat this morning. Where was I before he distracted me? I know. Immigrants entering Portugal down to 59%. Let me decode that clickbaity statistic for you this morning. How are you doing, by the way? I've got something to say about the developing resource over at the Portugal Club. Growing, living, aging and dying in Portugal. That's the focus. That's going to be the onward focus. And Preparedness Week in Portugal starts on Sunday and goes through to Saturday, where we're having a big party again next Saturday, the 19th of April. I want to tell you a little bit more about that. And as a focus on Stoicism, maybe like thoughts for the day this morning will revolve around Stoicism. Thumbs like hammers. Whoa. Ooh, he was a handsome man. He had thumbs like hammers. Right. Thanks, Portuguese, for your commentary this morning. You're out and about. Right. Let's have a look at this then. Biggest tennis tournament in Portugal. No, not that. Well, that's quite interesting, isn't it? If you're a tennis fan, you might want to learn a bit more about that. Win tickets for the 26th and 27th of April. Then, if you're a tennis fan, it's the Estoril Open, sponsored by Millennium. Okay, let's just take that massive advert off the screen. Oh, I appear to have clicked through to it. Can I? Yeah, there we go. Immigrants entering Portugal drop 59%. There are a number of ways of reading this, aren't there? What have they dropped 59% in height, in weight? I think probably in volume here, according to Executive Digest, which actually sounds like possibly like Digestion Weekly, as though it's something to do with the alimentary canal, the Executive Digest, or is it another level up from the Reader's Digest? The number of immigrants entering Portugal has fallen by 59% in just 6 months. That's dramatic, isn't it? If you consider that we have over 1 million foreigners in Portugal, which is pretty much a tenth of the population. For there to be such a significant drop is signifying something or other, and hopefully we'll find out more here. I think it is to do with the manifestación de interesse, the way that people were able to move into the country and start working and then regularize, as the government called it, regularize their affairs in due course. And of course, we know what happened when they tried to do that. There weren't enough staff to process them, and we ended up with the pretty pass we have now. Anyway, back to the article. The government has now restricted entry to foreign citizens with a visa. And by that, it's meant here that you have to have a visa, which is normal, isn't it? I mean, that's the way you go into a nation state of which you are not a born or a assumed or even earned national. You have to have a visa. And that was waived for people in Portugal, I think at one point, to boost the workforce. And with political turbulence and a lack of resourcing to process them, it just meant there was a massive influx of people who said they were going to work and did work and then couldn't get formalized having come here to work. And there are a lot of people who find themselves in the awkward position of working, of paying tax here in Portugal, but having no recognized status because although they've been working and contributing to the country and feathering their own nest, no doubt. I mean, let's not make it, we all do that to some extent, don't we? They haven't been regularized or made official by the government. So let's read on, and I'll come back to your comments in just a moment. Yeah, I don't mean to scaremonger with the citizenship thing. I'm just telling you what I was told last night from people who I consider to be professionals in the business of migration into Portugal. You can quiz them yourself every Thursday evening, by the way. Not next Thursday, because we're trying something new, but the Thursday after for sure. The Town Hall, the Dream Team. Right. A regime that allowed immigrants to regularize their situation after entering as tourists. Okay, that's the decline then is attributed to the end of the expressions of interest, in Portuguese, manifestação de interesse. On the 8th of April, during the announcement of the new measures to regulate immigration, António Leitão Amaral acknowledged it was out of control. His quote, out of control. And as a result, the outcome of the plan was revealed. A government report found that the flow of foreign, it sounds like a sort of prostate advert now, with flow in inverted commas, of foreign citizens entering the country with the goal of acquiring a residence permit increased. I think this should be decreased. Let me just cough a minute. I think this is misreporting or a typo here. Let's see if we can work this out together. A government report found that the flow of foreign citizens entering the country with the goal of acquiring a residence permit increased from 156,951 in the first half of 2024. Yeah, it's a decline, isn't it? In the second half of the year to 64,848. Dramatic drop. These figures correspond to the sum of registrations for the expressions of interest during the period under analysis. So let me make it clear. It's not D7s, D8s, D2s, or golden visas. It's people coming in who were able to come in, start work, and then sort all of that nationality stuff out afterwards. That's over. During the period under analysis, with the total number of work search visas and residence visas of all, so that is of all types. However, I would suggest that most of the change in numbers is due to the manifestation of interest and the expression of interest and the work search visa. Since 2017, the year in which expressions of interest began, my goodness, is it as long ago as that? Then that's when I came to Portugal. The number of immigrants who entered stood at 421,785, rising to, hastily drunk coffee before the show, rising to 480,639 in 2018. And has only increased every year. When the law changed in 2017, a decision by the Socialist Party, the PS, and left-wing parties, there were just over 400,000 immigrants in Portugal, Leitão Amaral stated. In 7 years, the proportion of foreigners residing in Portugal has gone from 4% to 15% of the total population. I mean, that is an extraordinary rise for any country to bear. And I think we need to be very mindful as foreigners here that we're part of that. And we need to play our game well on that basis, I would say. That was a big and rapid change, he added. That was, without a doubt, the biggest demographic change we've seen in our democracy and probably in our lifetimes. I don't think anyone would doubt that, would they? Currently, 1,546,521 immigrants. It probably got up just as we were speaking, but that's the recorded number. Just over 1.5 million immigrants have a residence permit, which is expected to reach 1.6 million in the coming months. That socialist government threw open the door. This is not my quote, this is the minister who's picked up this is Senor Amaro, I suspect. Here, that socialist government threw open the door, did not prepare public services for this increase. How many governments around the world actually increase infrastructure? Australia might be one of them, Canada possibly. Did not prepare public services for this increase and allowed hundreds of thousands of pending cases to accumulate, jeopardizing the integration of those who arrived, the minister accused. Once again, it was irresponsible and inhumane. It's not fair, is it, to the nationals, nor those coming in who can't get served in the way that they were anticipating. Are there any comments? No, there aren't. Are comments closed on this, or are people just sick of it and can't be bothered to comment anymore on the Portugal news there? So there you go. Immigrants entering Portugal dropped by 59%. Only published yesterday. Interesting stuff. Let's see what you're saying about that and the citizenship thing, which may be going from 5 years, if you've just joined us, to 10 years. As I wasn't told that that's going to happen last night by Rodolfo Pelicano and Gilda Pereira. I was told that they had heard political rumors and they were leaning towards that possibly happening because similar rumors were around and abounded around other changes, including the Golden Visa and the NHR. Right. I think we got there in the end, didn't we? Jesus lol from the Portuguese. And JMC, good morning to you. Sexta-feira. Okay, is it capital S? Or is it a small s with letters of the week? We have the company, the wonderful company. I'm very lucky. I'm going to have the company of Filomena for the next 3 days. Today on the show, of course, and tomorrow in Coimbra. A few of us meeting in Coimbra. Looking forward to that, along with Ben Austin's luncheon on Sunday as well. Literally, not euphemistically. Bom Dia Portugal from João Ernesto de Norte. Love the pictures yesterday, John. Thank you. Bom Dia. Pam, how lovely to see you. I would like to say it was lovely to see Tony and hear his jokes. You know I would. You don't capitalize the days of the week. I didn't think so. Thank you for that confirmation. I've been here 10 years and applied for citizenship 3 years ago. I don't think you're going to get extended another 5 years when such concerns were discussed last night, Pam. Now they are going to raise the minimum wage. Almost no Portuguese benefits from it. Yeah, it would have to be significant, wouldn't it? And us, the old geezers, you've always struck me as a young person, JMC, and not an old geezer. So you're a gumper, are you? Well and truly. You have, whoa, don't spend it all at once. Your pension of €200 a month. I'm sure we can help you spend it if you want your help or consultation on that. Portuguese wine, why not? Bon dia from Mel. Where you been, Mel? Missed you on the screen here. Yesterday, we enjoyed a lovely open-top drive over the hills and back roads to our favorite beach breakfast place. We've seen those pictures before, haven't we, John? I'm feeling this. I am feeling this. This is the way to do it, isn't it? And if anyone thinks I'm going all sort of doom-monger by talking about living, aging, and dying well in Portugal, I'm not. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about living life to the fullest as part of that, and the growing part. I've taken lad and I've made it glad. Growing, living, and dying, and aging and dying here in Portugal. For the rest of your wonderful life here. Let's talk about that. Let's have that conversation. I'm not sure any other community is doing that on the scale that I envisage. A nice finale before our 10-week trip back to Minnesota, USA. My goodness. Boa voyage. A nice memory to have stored and stacked there, John, ahead of your US trip. Be aware, the percentage change of immigrants as part of the population is also due to the high rate of emigration. The total population is about the same. Not since 2017, though, is it? I don't think, Mel, but I'll take your word for that. Now, Konyaso, where is it? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean there, JMC. I'm happy with my recent resident visa because no, I will give up my British citizenship. No, I will. No, will I give up my I will not give up. I don't think you're going to give up your British citizenship. I stay British until I die. That's such a British thing to say, Gemini Bradshaw. Sorry about Tony's jokes. You really don't need to apologize. I will be retelling them, but I have to pretend that I wasn't amused, of course, whilst I'm stealing his jokes at the same time. Okay, controversy, capital S, sexta-feira, but who cares? We know what it means. Well, that's one approach to grammar. I don't think teacher Filomena will be very happy about that. You don't have to give up your British. Oh, why am I struggling with that? Nationality. You can have both. That's right. You don't have to give it up. I wonder what it takes to renounce British citizenship. I'm proud to be British. Why not? Why not? In a time where that's not especially fashionable, why not? Good for you, Gemini, is all I can say to that. Right. I will have a quick look at the weather if the time allows, although I'm sure Filomena will permit us to do that. I am going to go over to the Portugal Club, where if you are interested in living, aging and dying well in Portugal, this is going to be our focus going forward, having those sort of conversations. If that gives you the shudders and you don't want to talk about it, it's not going to be the place for you, where we talk about that and really get to grips with it, such that, as I say, we can have a fantastic life here. And apparently people who I heard on a really good film or a trailer for a film that I'm going to be watching about death and dying, people who embrace it fully live longer. Strangely enough, that won't come as a surprise to some people. Right. To talk to you a little bit about Stoicism, as I've been building the resources over there at the Portugal Club. And yeah, this came into it. I've got, a few resources already building. We're gonna talk more as we have Portugal Preparedness Week. Preparedness in every sense, in all of Maslow's envisioning about the matter, the hierarchy of needs. Not just the shelter, but all the preparations for living a calm and extraordinary life here in Portugal, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Those are the sort of things we'll be looking at. And among my resources so far, you'll see, if you look on the screen there, you will see that we've got the Stoic view among counseling, coaching and support, death and dying, different perspectives on the matter, resources. The old guy in Europe, of course, he is chronicling his old age. He calls himself the old guy in Europe. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. I've got counseling, coaching and support. Of course, in that is Aviva's new scheme. Now, with Stoicism and what that can bring to the situation, in Stoicism, this is your thought for the day, carpe diem, memento, it's all very Latin this morning. Memento mori, Latin for remember that you must die, is a core principle, not a morbid reflection, but a tool to live a more meaningful life by acknowledging mortality, and focusing on what truly matters rather than trivial pursuits. How about that? Here's a more detailed explanation. What is it, or what it is? A memento mori is a Stoic practice of reflecting on one's own mortality, not to dwell on earth, not to dwell on death, I beg your pardon. It is to dwell on earth whilst we're here, not to dwell on death, but to use this awareness to live a more purposeful and authentic life. Yay! Let's stand on the chairs like Dead Poets Society at this point as we quote Marcus Aurelius. Why is it important? Well, you focus on the present. By recognizing the brevity of life, Stoics are encouraged to make the most of each moment and avoid wasting time on trivial matters. And those who I know, and thank you to Tom and Toddy for this, who are interested, who practice Stoicism, seem to be pretty cool people, I have to say. Prioritize your values. Memento mori helps individuals identify what truly matters to them and act accordingly rather than being swayed by external pressures or societal expectations. Well, you can take your external pressures and societal expectations and stick them where Zay Pavino suggests you stick them. The awareness of death can lead to deeper appreciation for life and the people and experiences that make it meaningful. How about that? We will talk more about this next week. And finally, and we'll have some words from Marcus Aurelius, reduced fear and anxiety. By accepting the inevitability of death, Stoics can find peace and reduce their fear of the unknown, focusing instead on living a virtuous life. And as I've said before, you can't really fear the unknown because what you're fearing is something that you think is going to happen. If you don't know what it is, how can you possibly fear it? That's the sort of thing Marcus Aurelius might say in his logical Roman way. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you could leave life right now, let that determine what you do and say and think. And there's a thought for the day. Marcus Aurelius, of course, was a Roman emperor. Isn't it amazing that we have such great caliber people running the world now? Philosopher emperors like Donald Trump. Oh, like Keir Starmer. Oh no, Prince Charles. No, Biden. No, I'll get back to you on all these incredibly wise elders who are running the world at the moment. Macron. No. Anyway, I'm sure there is one. Right. Geez. What? Good morning to you, Bobby O'Reilly. Where are you this morning? Who isn't proud of where one is born? Bon dia gambas from James. A new episode of The Old Guy in Europe out today. Feliz sexta a todos, como va todos from James. And we'll check if that's right with Filomena in just a moment. 2015 population, 10,370,000. 24 population. Okay, I bow to your worldometer statistics there. I'm not. There are a couple of you beseeching the good Lord, the Portuguese and Bobby O'Reilly this morning, who is dying. Newsflash: we all are. Maybe not what you wanted to hear, and it's not an emergency, but it is true, as Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics were pointing out to us. Yesterday, the temperatures were 25 to 26, and on Tuesday, they'll be back to a high of 13. States today, we have a week of rain ahead, it appears. That's not good for our trip to Coimbra tomorrow. And grow old disgracefully. Yes, embrace old age, Ian. Gemini agreeing with you. Inevitability, Marcus Aurelius was a wuss. Okay, you heard it here first. Any Stoics care to take on JMC in a gladiatorial battle at the Colosseum, perhaps, upon Marcus Aurelius's honor there? C.S. Lewis quote, isn't it funny that day by day nothing changes, but when you look back, everything is different? Well, I might have to add that to our resource as well. Cheers, João Ernesto de Norte. Let's give her a lovely big round of applause and bring her onto the screen. Sorry to keep you, Filomena. There she is.
Hello.
Bom dia, tudo bem?
Bon dia. Very busy, very, very busy.
You are, aren't you? And we're planning.
I am. I've slept for about 6 hours.
Do you normally sleep longer than that?
Hardly.
Same here.
But
same here.
Yeah.
I imagine
I try at least 7, but sometimes it's difficult.
Try. There is no try. Yoda and Marcus Aurelius this morning. Well, the from Owen. Hey, it's been a while.
Hello.
That's right. I'm glad you're here.
E parabéns, Owen. Parabéns.
Please learn the language to put me at ease. Filomena Friday. It's gonna take time learning Portuguese. Filomena Friday. I get confused nearly every day. Filomena Friday. How do I know which verb is okay? Filomena Friday. Practice those words so loud and clear. Filomena Friday.
On a Filomena Friday.
It's a day of cheer.
Woo!
Filomena Friday. tripsforbrits@gmail.com.
tripsforbrits@gmail.com. Absolutely right. Thank you, Owen. Yes, and you were giving us...
And congratulations to Owen, because he has finished his A2 level in Portuguese.
Yeah, big show off, Owen Lloyd Martin.
Muito bem,
very
Owen.
good, very good, excellent, mate. Well done. And desejo a todos uma excelente fim de semana. Flashing his skills there from the A2 course there. And Gemini, appreciating your words of wisdom from C.S. Lewis. Right, so yes, we're trying to get more sleep. However, things are conspiring against us in the exciting world that we live in. Bobby, if you're still watching, how much sleep have you had as you've been flying around America? Probably not very much, and contending with those time zones as well. Okay, we'll keep trying, won't we? We'll go to bed thinking 7 or 8 would be nice, and then we wake up after 5 or 6.
8 would be wonderful.
Luxury, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? All right, excellent. So how have you been? Busy, obviously. What else have you been up?
Very busy, because at the moment we are also preparing for marches in June, right?
Are you really?
2 months to go for
your teacher has you rehearsing 2 months out, does she?
Oh, we have to start very early, because it's a very complicated choreography, Oh my God. And we are 50 people, so it's not easy to coordinate all that and to learn all the moves that you have to do to the right, to the left. You have to turn. You have to memorize all that. And it's a different sequence of different movements, and you have to keep remembering what comes next. And so and we have to learn to sing the song that we have to sing as well. So yeah.
For some of us that's not easy, right? There are probably a couple of people in your group who are naturals, but as for the rest of us, we got to just keep getting that into the muscle memory, haven't we? Keep practicing.
Yeah, and some steps, for example, when our leader does the steps, it seems so easy. Okay,
Yeah,
we
right.
can do that.
Absolutely.
We can do that. And then
Yes.
when we try ourselves, oh my goodness! But how is the foot going that way? And
How are they
how
doing
is that?
How
Now,
are
shall I
these
start
working?
with this foot or the other foot? And oh God.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I had to dance actually for a music video. I was in a band years ago, and our track actually is going to be re-released, I think, this year. And in that career, I had to dance in the music video, and I had to dance live on Top of the Pops back in the 80s. And we hired a choreographer to teach us a routine. And the videos of me on Top of the Pops show me getting the routine wrong. Bad memories, traumatic. But I don't think it was too noticeable. But I'm not a natural in these things, and that is not a suggestion to you, Filomena, that I'll come over to Miranda de Corva and join the dance troupe. You do not want me.
Nah.
In your gang.
I'm sure you would be great. Like Annie, for example. You remember Annie?
Yes,
From
I do. Yeah.
our Sommertinho.
Yeah.
And Karen is also with us, and
There you
Mac.
go. Look.
Yeah,
Karen is
you
participating.
yes, yeah.
Amazing.
Karen is also participating, and Mac as well. So some of them, and
When do you tell
there
them?
is. Sorry.
So when do you tell them that they're dancing? Because when they become students, they just think, yeah, I'll work with Filomena. She'll help me with my Portuguese. Next thing they know, they're in an outfit.
Next step, dancing.
That's right. What? How did I get here?
Yeah, but we have others. We have Joshua, Martin, Jessica, Deborah, Martin. Well,
in your last
Tony
on Expats Portugal, I mean, part of this it's really important and useful, isn't it, as a foreigner, to get involved with an activity of this kind, because it really embeds you and gets you known in the community. So a great idea.
Yeah, and you learn some Portuguese as well, right?
Yeah.
Because every instruction is in Portuguese.
No. For example.
No, but 2 years ago, Paul Drain, he took a couple of weeks to understand that when the leader shouted "Vida, Vida," and he thought, who is Vida? I mean, she's always
in trouble
crying for Vida, and Vida is never here. Who is Vida? And of course, it would be turn, right? Vida, turn.
So is the Portuguese name Vieira, like Turner?
Vida.
Okay, all right.
Now we have, for example, we have the name Elvira, Elvira,
Okay.
And then for the short name we say Vida. But he thought that she was calling for someone that was not there.
Alice.
She kept turning. Yeah. She kept saying Vida, Vida, Vida. And who is Vida?
Where is she? Sounds like she's in so much trouble. Sounds like
then finally he understood that he should turn.
Okay, that's right. Yes, yeah. And there is a Saida, which you see as exit, of course,
Saida,
all around.
Yeah.
That's also a name, isn't it?
Saida.
Yes, I know of a real estate agent in Lisbon called Saida as well.
I've never met anyone called Saida. Maybe.
Okay. All right. I've met her in real. She's been on the show, actually. She came on the show once.
Yeah.
Yes. So her name's everywhere on the Lisbon Metro, for example. Very famous. Yeah. She's very famous on the underground. Right. Questions, please, for Filomena. I have one myself here with a Z here. Okay. And it was about capitalizing the letters of the week, and already controversy because capital S on Sexta-feira, and then Pam, no capital. on that. You don't capitalize the days of the week. So sexta-feira today, capital S or not?
No.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right.
No. Well, there are a few things that we used to write with capital letter, like the months, for example. And then after the agreement with Brazil in 1990,
that thing, right?
yeah, it killed a few things.
Right. Is it quite
namely
controversial at the time?
Namely, the capital letters
I
were
see.
also murdered. So
Murdered.
yes.
I've got a little feeling that you might not be entirely happy about what happened in 1990.
As you can see, I completely agree with that agreement.
Right. Okay. 1990. Okay.
1990.
So what did any capital stay?
Well, the names, the people's names and the cities' names, but even those names sometimes in an artistic way they are written in lowercase, but the rule is capital letter for the names of the city or the name of a person. Yeah,
Right.
At least that.
Yes, that's right, and that's the way it should stay.
Yeah,
as well. No more. Okay, we're drawing the line.
No, but it's not because of the capital letters that I don't agree, but especially because we lost the Latin origin of some of the words that we used to write with a C before the T, for example, like director. You have director with the C before the T. And we lost that C with that agreement. We lost the C, and so we say diretor, and so
yes, and doutor
this
as
agreement
well?
considered that if we say diretor, we don't read the C. So what is the C doing there? Nothing. Just take it. Okay.
Oh, okay. It sounds like it sounds like a government efficiency thing. It's like Doge in grammar, right there.
Yes,
Wow.
and so imagine if you did that to English language. I mean, you have lots of silent letters. So
it's true. Yeah. I don't know what to say.
For example,
honestly,
the verb to know, right?
yes.
No, you don't say the K. So if you took the K, how would you distinguish no and now? Isn't it? And the same happens with things in Portuguese, like fato and facto and espectador and espectador and things like that.
Look at this. The conservative grammarians among us are not happy.
Yes, James.
Those changes destroy history. Well, the change is itself history, isn't it? The fact that we're talking about it as well is very interesting. And whenever I hear this, because it happens there are 2 times I think in the year in the UK, notably, it's normally a quiet news day in the UK, and there'll be, maybe this happens around the new year, but there'll be the new words that have been added to the English dictionary, and there'll be words like text or street things that have come into popular culture. So
and
all
to do with technology and
that's right. And old grammarians are like, wow, never over my dead body, no. and then there'll be maybe a relaxing of the school curriculum where they put forward an idea that we're no longer teaching the Oxford comma, those sorts of things. And then people will say, I will take the Oxford comma with me to my grave. Nobody is taking this. But this happens, doesn't it? This is the to and fro of our languages. And over time.
Yeah, of course, the language is a living thing. And so it evolves. We know that it should evolve.
Yes.
But
not like that.
When we lose the origin, in things like that, I don't agree. No.
Okay. Egito and Egito.
Egito.
So JMC and Manuel stepping in with you. There, you've got your 2 knights.
I don't know if they are with me, but at least they are giving some examples. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I mean, that's a bit harsh. I think
Brazil, I should say Brazil.
that's escalated it to a level that's perhaps a little awkward there, JMC.
Yeah,
Right.
they are a lot more millions than we are. Yeah,
Right.
although we were the ones who went from Portugal
Exactly.
to
Come on, give
Brazil
and take. Give and take. 1990
and
Portuguese
destruction.
language changes.
Yeah.
This man, he's not happy about it, is he? And this it's funny, isn't it? Because my mother is from the Far East and are now a British citizen. And
Mhm.
she, colonials can be more British than the British can be. And I think James is sounding a bit like that this morning, isn't he? He's like, I'm here and I am going to be a guardian of the Portuguese language as long as I have breath in my body.
Yeah, and he actually is very good in Portuguese. Yeah.
He is, isn't he? Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He'll appreciate you saying that. Muito bem, James.
Muito bem, James.
A Portuguese pal of mine says the spelling is all political, not the words as well as everything else. She disagrees with the folks who did things like bringing in a K, so she just doesn't do it. Taking a one-woman stand there. Lots of Brazilians in the Algarve confused. Yes, well, that's right. You do.
Well, there are lots of Brazilians everywhere,
Well,
not just in the Algarve.
My Intermarché, yeah, I tend to say a bon dia myself these days, and I have a chá verde instead of a chá verde in the supermarket. Are we going back to Greeks now?
Yeah,
Taramasalata.
there are some Greek origins. There are some Latin origins.
Yes. Okay.
Now often after Cordoba. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Okay. They are with me.
Oh my word! Right, something's
We are
happening.
starting a revolution. We are starting a revolution here.
I'm slightly scared, Filomena. And actually, where we're going this weekend, I'm sure in the hallowed halls of Coimbra University, it would have been firmly debated, right? The cape is ready, everybody. She's a superhero of linguistics.
Yeah!
The cape is coming to Coimbra.
Yeah!
Oh, that's your superpower, isn't it? Teaching us.
That's my superpower. Yeah, my superpower.
There it is right there. And so we're off on our way to Coimbra, where, of course, people would have got excited about the Accordo Gráfico, I think, in 1990, certainly in the halls of language, and the professors of language would have debated it hotly with their students, I suspect, as well. Because that's your major was in languages in Coimbra, right, Filomena?
Especially English and German, yes, but
English
I
and
have
German.
also studied other languages.
You have Turkish, for example. I've heard you.
Not at university, no,
Right,
but Italian, yes.
Right. More C.S. Lewis quotes. Come back to that. That's fantastic. So yeah, really looking forward to the coming weekend. We're going to have a tour with you. And for anyone who's missed that, I know you're very busy, and I hesitate to advertise you further, but things probably will calm down, won't they, by the autumn? Trips for Brits at gmail.com.
Sometimes it calms down, and especially now that of course, apart from being completely booked for lessons at the moment, but it keeps changing all the time, because sometimes people just go and come and go. But at the moment, yes, right now I don't have any available slot. But apart from that, because I also always participate in the community events, as you know, and so apart from the lessons and apart from the translation that I also right now I have a few translations to do. So apart from all that, I also do other things in the community, and so we practice in the evening. For example, yesterday I arrived almost at midnight at home, because we started our practice at about 9:30. We finished by 11:30 or so, and then we were still chatting about a few details, and so and at the moment I am selling the t-shirt to support the Portuguese League Against Cancer.
Okay.
So this is this year's t-shirt, because every year it's a new t-shirt, and so I'm also trying to let people help the Portuguese League Against Cancer. It's just €6 for the t-shirt.
There you go. Will you be bringing any with you tomorrow? Is there not enough room in a suitcase for?
I can bring some.
Hey,
Yeah,
right.
I can.
If you're coming to Coimbra and you want one of the t-shirts for a mere €6, or is it? Do we have to call it something else? Are we not allowed to say euros? Do we? Is it? Is
No. We are allowed to say euros because it's a Portuguese League Against
yours.
Cancer.
Right. Okay.
It's an official institution. Yeah.
And did your teacher have a nice birthday? Because we were ahead of her birthday when we spoke last time. Did she have a nice time?
Oh yes, yes. We sung. I took the lyrics in Portuguese for the foreigners.
Very good, very good. I'm keeping up when it comes to singing Happy Birthday now. I'm much better than I used to be because it's such a joyous thing to sing here in Portugal. And I noticed when you were talking there about how busy you are, there's a very Portuguese giveaway in that because somebody from UK or US might say something like, "Oh, I'm too busy to join a singing and dancing troupe." Whereas Filomena here is busy because she is singing and dancing, not too busy to do something brilliantly Portuguese like that. But that's
you know what? Yesterday, during the practice, some of us decided, because there are lots of British in the group, also Americans, but especially British, and we decided to go to a cafe here that does fish and chips. And so we decided, okay, how about tomorrow going to that cafe and have some nice fish and chips? And two British, they went, oh, no, we have the quiz, and the quiz is in the evening, okay? The quiz is in the evening. And they was, no, we have the quiz. And I said, what? You have the quiz and you can't go for lunch? I'm having the show at 8 o'clock. I'm having lessons from 9 to 12.
Right.
I'm having lessons in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I can still go for lunch.
What is wrong with you people?
Why can't you go for lunch just because you have a quiz night?
Pathetic. Right? Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. You did right there to pull them up on that. Yeah, that's right. I've got to get up. I've got to brush my teeth. I've got to have breakfast. It's just too much. It's just too much. But Philomena's telling, come on, you lightweights. We're going to go to the quiz and we're having fish and chips.
Six of us are going to fish and chips.
Living right. You might have to wake him up halfway through, but they haven't had their nap, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Right. We do have questions and comments, and we've got some lovely photos because you have been busy as well.
Yes.
Beautiful photo.
I had that was a wonderful surprise. It was a surprise because I was actually in a supermarket.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't say the name. I was in a supermarket.
You can. We might get some free gifts. Go ahead.
And I got a text from Bob and a picture of this square where my office is. And I got a picture of the square and Bob saying that, oh, we are exploring Central Portugal. And look what we found. What a lovely place we found. And I thought, really? Are you here? So I said, okay, wait for me. I'll meet you in a few minutes. So I did, and I show them around, of course. I mean, I show them many things around. Yeah. And we had a lovely evening, because that happened. It was maybe 6 o'clock or so. And so, yeah.
We'll come back for a translation on that in a minute. Yeah. Right. There you go again. An English person or an American person. Oh no, some friends have turned up in the village and they want me to show them around. Look, you're going to have to go to my Calendly and I'll book you in 3 months' time.
I'm too busy. I'm too busy.
I've got fish and chips and the quiz today. I can't meet you. Whereas Filomena is like, stay where you are. I'll be with you in 2 minutes. Yeah. That is the Portuguese way, isn't it? And I think when you're Portuguese, you probably have a way of bending time as well that the British and the Americans don't have, right? So you found extra hours that day, didn't you?
And you know what happened? Bob and Viv, they had in mind going to spend the night elsewhere, not here. But then they were so busy with me that they decided to stay in Miranda do Corvo because it was lots and lots of things. So,
Amazing, amazing. Okay, and it'll be the same sort of vibes in Coimbra. There will be some sleepy bunnies by about midnight. Actually, they'll be well asleep. They'll be drooling by midnight. I think the Expats Portugal gang.
Yeah.
Extroverts love filling the time with lots of people. I think we can safely say Filomena is an extrovert. Introspection works differently around scheduling
I'm
things. It's not
extrovert,
about
yes,
filling the
that's
time.
for sure.
It's about managing it and energy required. Right. We had a question because this is about the language and culture Q&A.
Yeah.
Of course, we're talking about language. We're talking about culture a lot, but here's a language question. Could you please explain velo and the clitics? What on earth are clitics?
Yes. Okay. Well, that's we started last month. We started to speak about that. The O and the A and the L. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So this rule, this velo is an exception to the rule. This is an exception to the rule. When you have to say, for example, here, velo is to see him, him. Because this him is a masculine, you say the O, right? You put the O. But because if you say vir ends with an R, right? Vir, it ends with an R. And so you take the rule is when the word that comes before this O or before the A, if it's a woman, if the last letter of the verb is three choices, an R,
Yes.
an S, or a Z or Z. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
R, S, or Z. You take those letters, okay, in this case the R, vanish, and then after the dash, the hyphen there, you have to have an extra L, and so and then you also have to, you need those that acento circunflexo, the hat on the E.
Yes.
You need that because when you have the R, you have the pronunciation of the E like E, vir. But
I'm twitching. I've got it.
But okay, you need that hat to keep the sound of the E as E. So V lu, or if it was a woman, V la. A woman or something in the feminine. For example, a exposição. Vela, the exhibition. Vela. Okay. But that is something that we can go through. For example, next month I can have a few examples and extend a little bit the exercise, let's say, and do some examples. But yes, the velo is velo, and I don't know if the question was about the L, because why is the L there, or if it was the whole thing. Velo, why velo like that? But the L is there because of this exception. When the verb finishes with an S or with a Z or with an R, and then you have him or her or it in English, but a masculine or a feminine in Portuguese, then you, or them also, so it happens with the third person, singular and plural, so him or her or them. And so in this case you have to add this L to this O. Okay, I'm trying to avoid the grammatical names.
I hope you're not going to test me after this, Sarah. We're going to test you, okay, on this. You did ask the question.
Yeah, and there is also another rule with these O's and A's, which is when the verb finishes with a nasal sound, nasal, then you keep the same ending. For example, down, right? Down, they give, eles dão. So the nasal ão, then you keep the A and the O, but then after the dash, you have to write an extra N. So you say down.
It's starting to hurt. It's starting to hurt.
I'm not getting it. If you change it to negative, would it be no vejo? Yes, yes. Okay, we have
There you go,
lots
Mr.
of things to say about that. So it's hard to summarize in a few sentences. But yes, you are right. If it's the negative, for example, if it's the negative, because there are other cases, but yes, it's going to be the other way around. It comes before the verb. Yeah. Verb dar, yeah, dá-lhe, deu-lhe, dar-lhe. Yes, okay.
Interesting. JMC is Portuguese. Now, Portuguese people are not afraid of having a Portuguese lesson, are they? At all, and a conversation about the language, which I love. I see it on TV sometimes.
Yeah, well, I would say that lots of Portuguese need lessons.
That's hilarious. Okay. My word.
They do need some lessons. They do. They do.
Okay, that's very interesting, and that's why you see these like Vox Pop quizzes, don't you, on Portuguese TV, where they stop.
Yeah. Do you know how we should say this? And they
Yes.
don't have a clue. They don't.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't.
No, sorry. No, and they're like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Right. We've also got Japanese. If you think Portuguese is difficult, JMC says if you criticize Portuguese, you have to learn Japanese. You'll be moved to the Japanese class instead. Morning to you, T-Duck. Did you do that? The examples of all three then in this case with the Z, the
examples
S.
of all three. It means
Yes.
the R, the S, and the Z.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, I didn't give the examples, but you could say, for example, the verb faz, ele faz, right?
Yeah.
So ele faz a cama, for example. He makes the bed. Ele faz a cama. So then the Z disappears, and then you have to say ele fala. Ele fala.
Which makes it sound like he's talking instead of making the bed.
Yes. But it's fa dash la. So fala, ele fala. And with an accent on the fa.
Look, John agrees with you about the same for English speakers as well.
We are very revolutionary today.
We are, and we're quite. It's not going to go down well, but possibly in some areas. So that was the Z example, the Z example. Could we have
the Z? Yes. For example, dash with an S. Tu dash, you give. Tu dash.
Yes.
Common Portuguese. Yeah, don't worry, we'll understand. Yeah. Yes. So tu dash. You can also say tu dá la or tu dá lu without the S and with an accent on the A. Da.
Okay. Very good. All right. And Bob is here now. I don't know if you saw earlier on, Bob, and we'll finish. So let's let that sink in for a moment, and we will revisit, of course, when we get the next opportunity to do so. Bom dia todos from Bob. Fantastic Filomena Friday. Great to see you, Filomena, and your natural honey is delicious. I agree.
Yeah, they took some honey.
Wonderful. Oh, is that for sale this weekend as well? Can that be brought to Coimbra? Is it all gone?
No, it's not all gone. I still have some, but it's my natural honey. Yes.
I would love to buy a jar if I may.
Okay. I have to take these t-shirts. I have to hire a van.
Yeah, you do. Filomena's foodstuffs. We enjoyed our visit to Miranda de Córdoba, a great village and area, wonderful. And there's the picture to prove it. And was that after lunch? What did you have for lunch?
No, that was at dinner.
Oh wow! Okay.
And of course, they had to taste our chanfana, right?
Of course, the local delicacy of chanfana there. Brilliant.
Old goat cooked in red wine and cooked for long hours in a clay pot.
Of course, slow food, no rushing the chanfana. We've got a few more pickies to share. We'll just relax now, okay? Just let that sink in. Don't stress about what we've just been taught. Let it sink in.
Now let's do it next month. Next month we do a serious lesson.
Oh my goodness!
On the clitics.
Well, oh my goodness, the clitics! What a terrible word to describe a grammatical situation. Now I've got a picture. I want names. Well, actually, Where do we think this is? I think it's in Albufeira. Well, hey! Albufeira? No, okay. And if you've got a gato-based
Gato.
pun, we will gladly receive that as well. So that was some lovely calçadas, gato-themed calçadas there. So where is that? In Portugal. Very good. And you sent some other lovely pictures, which we could go through as well. A little bit of a slideshow. New arrivals here. Oh, how are they doing?
Yes. My husband's new chicks.
Oh, lovely. It's springtime, isn't it? Obviously, there's the evidence right there.
Yeah, five were born. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I'm not sure if this is one of yours or not. It
and
is.
yeah,
this?
because
This? Look at you. Amazing, amazing. Wow.
I'm almost the same. Almost.
You are. I mean, did you go to university when you were 12? By the way.
So yeah, here it is, the same folder, the leather university folder.
Yes.
And I also have another picture where I am burning my ribbon.
Oh, really? Is it still charred? Look at that. It's still charred. There's the evidence. And there you are.
Can you show the other picture, please?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's where everyone throws in there. You look about 12, Filomena. It's incredible. Incredible. Right. Yeah. And that's in Coimbra. In what? When's that? 80s?
In May.
Yeah.
In May every year we have Queima das Fitas.
Right.
And Queima das Fitas means the burning of the ribbon.
Of course. Of course.
Right? And so the burning of the ribbons, because we do burn that's why, because I thought that we were speaking about the traditions of Coimbra.
Oh, yeah.
So
got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to do
that. The ribbons, as you see here,
yes.
A bit burnt. Oops,
yeah.
there.
Okay. And does that signify the end of your studies? Is that what happens?
No, not the end. It's just at the end of the third year and beginning of the fourth year.
Oh.
We burn this, and we get the big ones. Okay, the big ribbon.
Okay.
So this is, we burn the small ribbon that we have. I also had another picture sent.
You did.
You
did. There it is.
No, the other one.
No, this one.
Yes, that one. Yeah. So that one is when I got the small ribbon. Okay, so I have to have, let's say, a godfather or a godmother to put the ribbons on the folder.
Yes, that's the handsome fellow there. That's
the handsome. I don't even know who he is now.
That mysterious handsome fellow.
Mysterious, okay. And so that was the guy who put the ribbons on my folder.
Amazing.
And then a year later, I burned the ribbons. And I got the large ones. Okay.
There we go. In that order then. And there you are outside English and German.
English and German.
Departments, right? Yeah. Okay.
English and German department. Yes. Yeah.
What does the Portuguese say on the wall there?
Oh Deus, porque nos abandonaste? Because Deus at the time was the surname of the Minister of Education.
Oh.
And so, oh God, Deus, God, why did you abandon us?
Oh, really? Wow. So that was a sort of political statement on the wall there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was. Why have you abandoned us? Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But of course, referring to the same biblical sentence, right? The Bible.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So, oh Deus, porque nos abandonaste? Because Deus was the minister at the time.
Well, I never. Okay, that's incredible. All right, let's go to a few more final comments then. Thank you
and
for
all
that.
But all those paper flowers, you see that there is a float.
Oh, hold on, I'll come back to that. That's a float, is it? Okay, right.
That's a float, yeah. And all those paper flowers, we make the flowers, and we ask the whole family to help making the flowers. So there are lots of members of the family making the flowers. So that the float is ready for the parade in May.
And you are representing your department, the English and German department there.
No, I'm just there taking a picture near my float, right? But
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Okay, wonderful. Well, I shall see you tomorrow. And we will
Tomorrow.
be on those streets, won't we? Capricorn Chris, I remember you. He's just popped in as well. I had a teacher called Pedro Homem de Deus.
Yes,
there.
Deus is also a surname in Portugal, yeah.
Peter, the man of God. What a fantastic name to live up to
Homem de
there.
Deus, yes.
Yeah, tradition for seniors there. Yeah, as JMC is observing. Thank you, Mr. S and JMC and Manuel for all of your contributions as well. Defender of my mother language. I think
No, it's revolutionario.
the revolution began here this morning, didn't it? I think.
Yeah, but he says it's not a revolution. It's just to stand for your mother nature. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Delicacy for sure. Great company. And yeah, by Randy Andeiro now loves the champagne as well. Favorite meal, especially the goat version.
Yeah, the goat version is the true one. The other versions are not the true one.
Yeah, that's right. Get back to Bayrada with your beef. Come in here with your beefy Bayrada version. How very dare you? Stick to Leitão over there. I think possibly there. Wonderful. Yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow. Looking forward to the gathering in Coimbra. Thanks so much for being with us this morning for a little bit of.
See you tomorrow.
I will see you then. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you.
Ciao.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Beijinho. Bom fim de semana.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need